The Ezio Trilogy, a game packed with three of the greatest Assassin's Creed games of all time, following the story of Ezio Auditore from being a selfish young man to becoming a wise master assassin. Part 1. The story. The story continues right where the first Assassin's Creed game took off. With Desmond Miles and Lucy Stillman escaping Abstergo Industries, we are introduced to the modern-day combat, which is fairly good. Desmond is then taken to a hideout, where he is introduced to Rebecca and Sean, modern-day assassins. Desmond is then introduced to the Animus 2.0 that Rebecca designed and dives into the past. We're taken to 1476, where we play as Ezio Auditore, a young adult, and very naive at that. Ezio lives with his father, Giovanni, his mother, Maria, his sister Claudia, and his brothers Federico and Patricia. Ezio is faced with the first challenge of his life when his father and brothers are both executed for treason. It turns out Giovanni was an assassin and trying to have Francesco de Pazzi, a Templar knight, arrested for murder. Ezio, Maria, and Claudia move in with Giovanni's brother Mario, who trains Ezio to be an assassin like his father before him, and hopes Ezio will unlock the secrets Giovanni was unable to uncover. Ezio travels around Italy, learning the ways of the assassin, before finally facing off against Rodrigo Borgia, head of the Templar Order, who, by the way, has obtained the staff of Edom. After years of training, Ezio is finally ready to avenge his family. And so Desmond's story continues. Desmond meets Juno, one of the gods that became before, and saw her world destroyed eons ago. Desmond, Lucy, Rebecca, and Sean travel to the modern-day Villa and dive into Ezio's story. In 1500, Ezio and Mario have established a Villa, transforming it into a headquarters for their army. However, Cesare Borgia, son of Rodrigo, has risen to power over the years and ready to take revenge for his father on the assassins. Mario is killed, and the villa is left in ruins. Ezio, Maria, and Claudia flee from the villa. Over 7 years, Ezio rebuilds the Brotherhood around Roma. As he slowly takes out the Templars associated with Cesare Borgia, Ezio is knighted as the master of the Creed and welcomes his sister into the Order. Ezio finally catches up to Cesare for a final duo. Desmond is then controlled by Juno and kills Lucy, who is revealed to still be an Abstergo agent and following the assassins. Desmond is trapped in the Animus, and so Rebecca and Sean call William, Desmond's father, to help out. It is revealed Desmond is basically losing his mind, as the subject before had. Desmond meets Subject 17 in the Animus world, who seeks to help save Desmond's life. In 1511, Ezio has now learned of the keys that will unlock Altair's vault in Masyaf. Ezio travels to Constantinople, where he meets Yusuf, the leader of the Constantinople Assassin Creed. We are also introduced to Sophia, who is a librarian who helps Ezio locate the keys upon finding clues leading to them. Upon retrieving the keys, we get the chance to play through segments of Altair's life after Assassin's Creed 1. This is one of my favorite parts of Revelations, branching the storylines between Ezio's and Altair's story. There's also major conflicts between Prince Ahmet, father of Prince Suleiman, who Ezio meets on his trip, and his brother Selim, who are battling to become Sultan of Constantinople. Solomon requests Ezio help in stopping Tarek, captain of the Janissaries, who Solomon believes is planning to kill him. Upon defeating Tarek, Ezio learns that he was planning to ambush Manuel Pelagios, hired to the Byzantine throne. Ezio continues collecting keys and learns Manuel has the final key. Ezio travels to Cappadocia and confronts Manuel and obtains the final key. Ahmet then steals the 5 keys upon revealing himself to be a Templar and threatening to kill Sophia. Ezio returns to Constantinople and saves Sophia from Ahmet and pursues Ahmet on a horse and buggy. Ezio defeats Ahmet. His brother Selim arrives and reveals he is Sultan and throws Ahmet off the cliff. Selim then orders Ezio never to return. Ezio and Sophia access Altair's vault, where Ezio decides he has seen enough and gives up on the journey. The story concludes with Desmond meeting Juno, Minerva, and some other god who explain the end of the world coming for Desmond. Part 2. Adapting gameplay. I loved the game mechanics you get to experience throughout the Ezio Collection. Assassin's Creed 2's mechanics compared to playing Assassin's Creed 1 were outstanding, and of course, they're not going to pair with Assassin's Creed games today, but it's one of the better combat systems that shaped future systems. For the first time, we were able to upgrade a villa, purchase stores and banks, and all sorts of different stores and shops around the community. Brotherhood ups the mechanics with a lot more dodge and encountering against enemies, along with the classic slow-mo executions on enemies. Brotherhood also introduces the Creed upgrades where you can save random NPCs and have them join your Creed, and you rank them up by sending them on missions. Revelations really didn't add much to the gameplay that differed from AC2 or Brotherhood. However, it did introduce the hook blade, which I thought was a super cool tool to use, and I still wonder why we never saw it after Revelations. Part 3. Evolving Worlds. The worlds we are introduced to in this trilogy have the best evolving settings. Italy in AC2 looks amazing. It's not overly gritty like all of the areas in Assassin's Creed 1, but it's not bright and vibrant like other games. It's kind of in between, the perfect tone for the game. Each area has their own unique style of background colors and landscape. It's almost perfect. Roma ups the color graphics of the Ezio Trilogy. Roma's bright and vibrant, which was not something we were used to at the time, and the characters looked really different in Brotherhood. But I think this was the era Ubisoft was evolving into. Regardless, Brotherhood with the best graphics looks outstanding. Finally, we have Constantinople, which I think is a great mix of 2 and Brotherhood. It's not too colorful and it's not too dull. Revelations have the perfect in-between setting. Also, I love how Masiev looks in the Altair mission. It looks truly amazing in Revelations. Revelations does not fail to impress, with each location looking super realistic, the most realistic out of the 3, in my opinion. Furthermore, the Ezio Trilogy is one of my favorite game trilogies in the franchise. I love starting it from Ezio as a young age, and following his story through these games, watching him age and adapt into the assassin we know and love him to this day. And I really hope Ubisoft goes for this size of game again in the future. But that being said, that is my critique on the Ezio Trilogy.